It's Thirsty Thursday, time to raise a glass. I grab my bottle, let the good times pass.
All right there. Welcome to Izzo's Place. Thirsty Thursdays. Time for a neck pour. So, maybe you saw the short that I released earlier today for the Bulleit Rye Whiskey 12-year. Now, I went to Bulleit's website today, and they don't even have this listed. So, it does say limited bottling on it. So, maybe they made it, and maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they'll make it again in the future, but for whatever reason, it's not on the website. So, on the initial neck pour, I seemed to like it, and there was a lot of minty notes. I was actually getting winter mint and spearmint, which I don't always get. I usually get winter mint. Sometimes I'll get spearmint. Usually not together, but I was getting them both, and some vanilla, and a lot of oak, but it's 12 years old. So let's go ahead and see what we got going on. Nice pop. I'm gonna have to go through and pop all my corks someday and record it and make a crazy compilation. Ooh, got some good smells coming off of it. Okay, let me go ahead and acclimate to this. Sorry, nose is itching today. Must be some allergies. Let me go ahead and acclimate to this, then we'll look at the bottle, we'll talk about it, and then I'll give you notes. Okay, Bulleit whiskey. I enjoy Bulleit. I've been drinking Bulleit a long time, long before my obsession with whiskey happened. Probably the main things that I would drink before I got into wanting to taste everything was Bulleit, Old Granddad, Maker's Mark, Woodford Reserve. Those were the four. Let's do it that way. That makes more sense. Those were the four that I enjoyed. I didn't really nose them, taste them like this. I would drink them neat. I'd drink them in cocktails. I'd drink them with a mixer. But so when I started this collection, some people don't want it. Some people don't like calling it a collection. All my 90% of my bottles are open. So what I have is a selection instead of a collection. Anyway, that's just semantics. And, I'm not an architect, so I don't draw schematics all the time. If you know, you know. So Bulleit obviously had to take a place in my collection. I have several. One of these days, we'll taste them all together and rank them. But yeah, I was walking through the liquor store one day, saw this 12, and it's limited bottling enough that they only let me buy one. A lot of times that happens, limit one. So I'm glad I bought it. $54.99, so $55 plus tax if you're buying it at retail here in Ohio. I don't know what it is on the secondary, but it's 12 years old for $60. Nice. Anyway, it's a small batch, limited bottling. So Bulleit, when they do their rye, they do a 95% rye and 5% malted barley mash bill. So it's not quite. Well, it's still called American Straight Rye Whiskey. I imagine for straight rye, I imagine it has to be, at least got gnats flying around today, it has to be 51%, I imagine. All right. Anything else we need to know? 46% alcohol by volume, or 92 proof if you prefer. So here's what I found interesting. And I'm going to do a light history, very, very, very light history. And I think what I need to do down the road is to give you like a complete history, or as complete as the internet and history books will tell me on the various distilleries. Because the rye, when you're doing Bulleit, the rye is distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, which anytime you hear Lawrenceburg, Indiana, you should be thinking MGP. What is that called? MGP. Something grain products. What does the M stand for? I don't know what the M stands for. I can't remember. But anyway, so or NGP, MGP. What's the M stand for? I don't remember. Unfortunately, I'm not going to look it up. Maybe editing Izzo will be nice to put it here for us. MGP is also known as Ross and Squibb, and they are a huge distiller, and they do a lot of contract distilling for other brands. And I had read an article that they're starting to get out of that, and but I imagine it seems like Bulleit has a really good relationship with them. It seems like they've been doing their ryes for a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bulleit kept doing their ryes at MGP, unless Bulleit opened up its own rye distillation system within its distillery. Is any of this making sense? It might not. But so did some light research, very light. I will deep dive into the distilleries later. But it sounds like the Bulleit label, or at least the modern version of it, was started in 2017. Or I could be wrong because I'm just reading it fast and I wanted to get to this video for you. Or it's just that they opened a official bourbon distilling plant. So hopefully between now and when I release this video, I'll have actually done the research. Editing Izzo will probably add some stuff in. So 2017, I think they opened a distillation plant to handle at least the Bulleit whiskeys. Actually, there's one here. That's my next neck pour. So their bourbon and their whiskeys, sounds like they handle them themselves. Sounds like one of the plants opened in 2017. I'll have to double check when Bulleit, the label, started or was restarted. A lot of these get restarted. Where else was I going with this? Yeah, so some of my older Bulleit bourbons only say bottled by Bulleit Distilling Company. So what that means is that they were probably distilled somewhere else. The older bourbons I have, this bourbon here says distilled by Bulleit Frontier Whiskey. So in Shelbyville. So I think that's what it is. I think the Shelbyville distillation plant opened in 2017, and now they're actually making their own. I believe, if I read it correctly, I believe they actually used to get their bourbon from Four Roses Distillery. Again, Editing Izzo will give us some facts, and he'll tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I'm just gonna keep going with this video, no matter how right or wrong I am, and I'll just face the corrections. I can do that. I'm a big boy. Anyway, so Bulleit was having their stuff distilled by Four Roses, at least by 2017. Sounds like they're distilling their own stuff. So this newer bottle of whiskey says actually distilled by the Bulleit Frontier Whiskey Company. My older ones just say bottled by, which means that they didn't distill it. And then this one's newer than the bourbons up there, younger than this. This said distilled by Lawrenceburg. That's MGP. But that's all. Just kind of doing that, buying some time, letting this glass open up so we can see what we see. I will finish talking about the bottle though. Supposedly, and I can't remember which company he supposedly worked for. Supposedly, the guy that started Bulleit, or at least refurbished Bulleit, supposedly he was not adept at putting labels on whatever whiskey company he worked for, and so got fired over it apparently, or left on his own, started his own company, and he makes sure that his labels are not straight. So that's kind of fun. All right, and you know what? And the funny part about whiskey is that it's all tall tales and nonsense. Who knows what's true and what's not? You know, we delve into the internet, into the history books, and try to piece it all together. But you know what? When you're sipping whiskey with your friends, the exaggerations and tall tales happen. What are you going to do? That's part of the fun, part of the charm, and it's all very interesting to me. So yeah, we talked about $55 plus tax. We talked 46% alcohol by volume, or 92 proof, 95% rye, 5% malted barley, distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. I do enjoy MGP, so it doesn't really bother me that it was distilled elsewhere. Ooh, lots of vanilla. Beautiful mint notes. Boy, and I can't place it. I can't place it today. It's lending more towards winter mint tonight. I can see the hint of spearmint in it, though. And I think that neck pour was almost a year ago. My palate has definitely increased in talent in that time. I get a hint of a Bazooka Joe in there. Just that bubblegum just keeps coming back and back. Tiny bit of honeysuckle. I like that. You know what? It's not spearmint. It is dill. So I got vanilla, I got winter mint, I got dill, I got a little bit of honeysuckle. That's pretty awesome for under $60. Well, after tax, it's probably like 61 something. Okay, so this time around, on the short, I said that the vanilla and the mints came through on the palate, the heavy oak influence. Honestly, this time, the vanilla was there, pretty insistent at the start, and it turned into more like baking spices. I was getting cinnamon, I was getting nutmeg. What else was I getting? A little bit of black pepper on the finish. The finish is long, but it's not strong. Like, it's there, but it's not wow there. It stays for a long time, but it's not like crazy in your face about it. And I think that's more the oak influence. I think that's the oak influence, so like the tannins, I think, kind of drying out my tongue afterwards. I think that's what it is. Not a lot of flavor on the finish, just sensations and not super intense. But it's not short either. I mean, it's still there. Like I say, it's not as intense a situation that you can find yourself in, but I can't say that it's a short finish. I definitely can't say that. Okay, cool. 92%. I got no hug. I got no hug. Now it's not my first pour of whiskey today, but the only thing I drank was this. I was trying my barrel aged Buffalo Trace, and that's at 90 proof. So, but apparently that was enough to acclimate my body where I did not get a hug with the Bulleit. I think a breaker just tripped. I heard my fan go off out there, I think. Little hint of caramel. That's fun. That's from the barrel. A little hint of caramel. That little bit of bubblegum's in there too, fighting around. It's so for a $60 whiskey. It's very good for a $60 whiskey. And I mean, and you're getting a 12-year age statement on it, so that's pretty cool too. The nose is like a $100 whiskey nose. It is really good. You could sit there during a movie and just enjoy this for a while. The palate is a $60 or less palate. It's a $60 pallet. So it's $60. I'm definitely not mad at this. 12-year age statement, $60. I like the bottle. I like the brand anyway. It's not so expensive, so you can put it in cocktails if you want and probably make a really nice complex cocktail. Might be nice as an old-fashioned or a Manhattan. But it is good enough to go ahead and drink neat if you wanted. And at 92 proof, you probably don't need water and ice cube, but absolutely you could put one in if that's the way you enjoy your whiskey. So I'm glad I have this. Like I said, it wasn't on the website. I'll have to check out OHLQ's website and see if there's any more in the state. Maybe grab one if I see one. But I'm glad I have this. I'm glad I could tell you about it. I would say if you see one, I would say buy it at retail. If you see it any more than retail, or let's put a limit on it. If I didn't have one and I came across one, I might pay up to $75 including tax. So I guess I'm basically saying, like, don't pay more than $15 over retail for this. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. Take it with a grain of salt, as they say. But I do like Bulleit. I mean, I like their original stuff, although at this point with my palate, the original bourbon and rye, I'm probably only using cocktails. Probably not going to sip it neat very often. Or maybe I'll throw it in a barrel. But this is, I've enjoyed some of their other expressions. Single barrel strength. I'm going to try this bottle in bond next. There's a 10-year bourbon. There's a 10-year rye. Those are all good. There's a single malt. If you like that kind of thing, it's enjoyable. If you don't like it, definitely don't do that. But no, so the Bulleit journey has been fun. I'm glad I did it. And there you go. So please, in the comments, let me know if you've tried this, or let me know your opinion on the Bulleit bourbons and ryes in general, and what your experience is with them, if you like them, how you drink them, how much you pay for them. Interested in all that, please. And all right, and eventually down the road, we'll do a deep dive into the distillery itself. So, thanks for hanging out at Izzo's place. If you're working, please work safe. If you're drinking whiskey, please drink responsibly. Do everything with a little bit of whimsy, and you're going to have a good time. And I will see you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place.
We'll talk about the woodwork. We'll celebrate with whiskey. But we'll do it all with whimsy. And we'll always have a good time.
And here you go, Lauren. Hey, look at the camera, Lauren. 3, 2, 1. I got to get a fake camera for Lauren. All right. Good night, folks.